When I was in primary school, there was this kid called Connor. And Connor was a little bit weird, okay? He wasn't like the most normal NPC child. There were a few weird quirks about him. He wore these kind of goofy glasses. And he did this thing where whenever he got angry, he had some anger issues. He would charge like a bull, like I'll try and show you now. So he would go and then run at people. This, along with his anger issues, made him a very easy target when it came to bullying. Everyone in my class would kind of pick at him, take the piss out of him, use him as like a cruel joke, you know, as a way to prop up themselves in the social hierarchy, you know. And I was a part of that. There were times where I decided I was going to be mean to Connor for the sake of fitting in with everyone else who was also mean to Connor. And honestly, I'm pretty ashamed of that. I talk about bullying on my channel and the effect that it had on me, the terrible effect it had on me, the mental health issues that it caused, the negative feedback loop I fell into, the crippling social anxiety, the clinical depression. All of this perhaps accelerated by bullying. What I don't talk about often is the fact that I too engaged in this behavior to fit in with the status quo of the rest of my classmates. And I don't really think that's uncommon. You guys watching this video, you might also have done this at some point. If you dig deep into your brain right now, can you remember a time where you were mean to someone for no good fucking reason? And this is why I have a pretty easy time coming to understand and forgive people who have wronged me in the past, been very mean to me, because I know for an absolute fact that I live genuinely with a very good heart and with very good intentions, yet I still found myself being a dick to some people for no good reason, just for the sake of tribalism, and also just not knowing any better as well. And that's not to say that all of the people who wronged me might have good hearts. Some of them probably are just genuine dipshits, dickheads, right? But that isn't even really a part of the equation for me anymore, because they're not a part of my life. And forgiveness is actually a very selfish act. You forgive people for yourself, not for them. So I don't really think about the variables, if they're good, if they're bad. I don't really care. I like to assume that if someone wronged me, it must be because of something else outside of the fact of they are genuinely just fucking penises. But I'm telling you this story because I actually had a very unique opportunity. I was going to my local gym. This was back in the UK. I was like in the trenches. I was battling in the trenches, guys, at this point, okay? Mental health was super down bad. I was literally spending like 5 hours a day in the gym, just trying to stay out of my head. And during this time, because I'd spend so much time in the gym, I actually saw Connor. He was going to the same gym as me. And bearing in mind, this is probably like 8 or 9 years after I last saw him. But I recognize him. He's still got the slightly goofy glasses. He's much bigger now. He's got some cool tattoos. Awesome. And I saw him there every few days. But for the longest time, I didn't have the confidence to go up and speak to him because I had really bad social anxiety myself. But I had this deep burning desire to go up to him and genuinely just explain myself and also just apologize as well. I just didn't have the confidence to do it for the longest time until one day where I finally went up to him. I reintroduced myself because he didn't recognize me at all because I look like an entirely different person. And I offered him my sincere apologies and I just explained to him like, listen bro, I'm sorry, I was really young, I was really dumb. I was just trying to fit in with the rest of, you know, the class, and I really hope you can forgive me for any damage that I've done, you know. It's one of the very first things I said to him when I reintroduced myself, and the look of relief and happiness that just overcame his face very suddenly. He just looked elated and almost relieved. He was so thankful and so grateful for me to just share that with him and to just give him some sense of relief and understanding. He also just went on to say that he's like grateful it happened and it's made him into a much stronger man, and I was really happy to hear that as well. Don't get me wrong, guys. In terms of the amount of bullying that Connor was going through, I was probably 0.001%. But any amount of just mean-heartedness for no good reason, to me, warrants an apology. And after that, we actually ended up hitting some workouts together in the gym, and it was really cool. He'd gotten quite big, you know, he'd been smashing the gym, as you do. So he was showing me some new exercises, some new movements. I was still quite new to the gym, so I actually made a friend from this. I made a good friend. Eventually, we started going to the gym at different times, so we couldn't work out anymore, but sometimes we'd bump into each other, and it would always be a really warm interaction. And that's just fucking awesome, man. And it made me feel so much better, being kind of liberated from my wrongdoings, being able to reach out to him and tell him, like, listen, bro, I'm sorry, that's not me. And it was confirmation that I am who I say I am as well, because it's actually quite hard to do that. It is hard to go up to someone and admit that you were wrong and apologize to them, especially if you've not spoke to them for like 9 fucking years. This sort of brings me to the point of my schizophrenic wandering around outside melting in the sun rambling video. Hopefully you've thought already while watching this video. You're not just NPC watching this. It's making your brain go a little bit, but hopefully you've thought of maybe some point in the past where you've perhaps wronged someone for no good fucking reason, apart from just trying to fit in or whatever the reason might be, some sinful, wrong way of treating someone. Hopefully you've thought of it, because we probably all have at some point, man. And hopefully you don't have a bad heart. If you're watching this channel, I'd like to think you don't have a bad heart. You have a burning desire to improve and become the best version of yourself, and that's awesome. And if that's the case, I really strongly encourage you guys to reach out to someone you think you probably owe an apology to, and to just give them a warm word of encouragement along with your apology and a little explanation as well, because it really helps people process these emotions and perhaps forgive and move on with their lives. And if you can do something like that for someone, it could possibly change their fucking lives, because I assume when I apologized to Connor, he probably personified me as everyone who bullied him in school, or a lot of people. And he probably found so much relief in hearing that, yeah, most of these guys that were mean to him probably didn't mean anything bad by it. And that's why he had such an elated look on his face when I talked to him. You could possibly change someone's life trajectory by just apologizing and explaining that to them, and just giving them a sense of peace as well. I just had that random thought, and I just really wanted to share it with you boys. Boys, if you want to learn how to make money online from the comfort of your bedroom or traveling the world with your laptop, as you can see, I'm out in Thailand. It's very hot right now. Click the first link in the description right now and check out these results. As you can see, my academy is legit as fuck. We're getting sick results. Take care, boys.